What if I told you your transmission might be wearing out right now, not because of age, not because of mileage, but because of tiny everyday habits you don't even notice? Drivers think failures come from bad luck, yet real-world data from rebuilders and oil labs suggests something very different and far more expensive. There are 10 silent mistakes almost every owner makes, and avoiding them can mean the difference between a smooth 300,000-mile life or a sudden 5,000-ton disaster. Before we dive in, hit subscribe, because what you're about to learn could save your car and your wallet. Let's begin. Mistake number 1. Believing in lifetime transmission fluid. You've probably been told that your transmission fluid is lifetime and never needs changing. Manufacturers like BMW, Audi, Ford, and Chevrolet have been pushing this narrative for years, especially in vehicles like the Explorer, Malibu, and various luxury models. Your owner's manual might even say, "sealed for life." But here's the dirty secret. Transmission fluid oxidizes, shears down, and burns over time. Tribology Labs, the scientists who study friction and wear, have proven that viscosity breakdown begins around 40,000 miles and accelerates rapidly after 60,000 miles. The fluid that was bright red and clean at the factory turns brown and loses its ability to protect your transmission's internal components. According to Blackstone Laboratories, a 2020 Ford Explorer ST showed heavily oxidized ATF at only 41,500 miles. There's also a viral TikTok case where a Toyota dealer refused to perform an ATF service, claiming the fluid was lifetime. The owner went to an independent shop and they pulled out brown fluid contaminated with metal particles. Here's what you should do instead. Change your transmission fluid and filter every 30,000 to 60,000 miles, depending on how you drive. If you tow trailers, live in a hot climate, or do stop-and-go city driving, lean toward the 30,000-mile interval. This service restores smooth shifting, lowers operating temperatures, and can reduce clutch wear by up to 50%. A $200 fluid service beats a $4,500 rebuild every time. This applies especially to GM's 4L60E, Ford's 6R80 and 10R80, Honda's 5-speed automatics, and BMW's ZF transmissions. But if you think skipping fluid changes is bad, the wrong fluid is a death sentence. Mistake number 2. Using universal or incorrect transmission fluid. Most people think that universal ATF works in everything. You walk into an auto parts store, grab a bottle that says, "works in most vehicles," and pour it in. Problem solved, right? Wrong. The truth is, modern automatic transmissions rely on very specific friction modifiers engineered into the fluid. Using the wrong fluid causes shudder, gear slip, and excessive heat buildup. Fluid manufacturers openly warn that you cannot up-treat a generic fluid to match OEM specifications. The chemistry doesn't work that way. Here's a perfect example. Nissan CVTs fail rapidly when you use anything other than NS3 fluid. Some owners reported total CVT failure within 20,000 miles after using universal fluid. Another case involves GM's 8-speed transmission from 2015 to 2019, which developed severe shudder issues. Owners spent hundreds trying to fix it until they switched from universal ATF to Mobil 1 LVHP ATF, the correct fluid. Problem solved. The solution is straightforward. Use OEM-grade fluids designed for your specific transmission. For GM vehicles, that's Dexron VI. Ford requires Mercon LV or ULV. Chrysler and Ram need ATF Plus 4, and Nissan CVTs absolutely demand NS3 fluid. Don't gamble with your transmission to save $20. Spending an extra $50 on the correct fluid now can save you $3,000 on a CVT replacement later. The vehicles most sensitive to this mistake include the Nissan Rogue, Jeep Patriot CVT, Honda's CVT models, and Ford's dual-clutch Focus. And if that shocked you, wait until you see what aggressive flushing does to high-mileage transmissions. Mistake number 3. High-pressure flushes on high-mileage transmissions. Your dealer probably recommends aggressive machine flushes to clean everything out and make your transmission run like new. Sounds good on paper, but here's what they don't tell you. High-pressure flushing on high-mileage transmissions can dislodge debris and send it directly into sensitive valve bodies, causing immediate or rapid failure. Bottom line, those particles have been sitting there for years, acting like a band-aid over worn surfaces. When you blast them out with high pressure, you expose the damage and contaminate critical components. A German transmission service bulletin explicitly warns against flushing any transmission over 120,000 miles with burnt or degraded fluid. One documented case involved a 2016 Ford Explorer owner quoted $8,000 for a complete transmission replacement after a flush went wrong. The owner found a knowledgeable mechanic who performed 3 gentle drain and fill procedures instead, about 30 to 40% of the fluid each time. The shudder disappeared and the transmission has been running smoothly ever since. Your best approach is staged fluid exchanges. Drop the pan, replace the filter and gasket, then perform 2 to 3 partial drain and fills over several thousand miles. This method removes contaminants safely without shocking the system. You'll restore pressure stability and extend transmission life. A $500 stage service beats an $8,000 disaster every time. This applies especially to Ford's 6R80 and 10R80, GM's 4L60E, Toyota's 5-speed automatics, and Chrysler minivans. If you're finding this information valuable, hit that like button to help other car owners discover these truths. But if wrong fluid and bad flushes concern you, wait until you hear about the real #1 killer, heat. Mistake number 4. Ignoring transmission, heat, and not using an auxiliary cooler. Most people assume the factory cooler is enough, even when towing heavy loads or driving. In hot climates, you've probably never even thought about your transmission temperature because there's no gauge on your dashboard. But here's the kicker. ATF breaks down rapidly above 220 degrees, and at 260 degrees, your clutch material starts to burn. The reality is that some GM 4L60E trucks hit 240 degrees just going uphill with a trailer attached. At those temperatures, your fluid is literally cooking, and transmission shops will tell you that heat is responsible for up to 90% of all transmission failures. 9 out of 10 failures trace back to excessive heat. According to data from professional rebuilders, adding an auxiliary cooler can drop your transmission temps by 15 to 30 degrees. That can literally double your transmission's lifespan. A plate fin cooler from brands like Derail or B&M Supercooler costs around $120 and installs in a couple of hours. Your solution? Install an aftermarket transmission cooler, especially if you drive a Chevy Silverado, Tahoe, Ford F-150 with an EcoBoost engine, Jeep Grand Cherokee, or Ram 1500. If you tow anything, boats, campers, trailers, this upgrade is non-negotiable. Spending $120 on a cooler beats paying $4,000 for a rebuild because your transmission overheated. But if heat is destroying transmissions, your daily driving habits are the silent accomplice that finishes the job. Mistake number 5. Bad driving habits. Shifting before, stopping, and heat soaking. You've done it 1,000 times, backing out of a driveway while the car is still rolling backward and you throw it into drive. Or you're creeping forward in traffic and slam it into reverse before coming to a complete stop. Most people think automatics can handle this because modern cars are smart. But here's what actually happens. When you shift from reverse to drive while the vehicle is still moving, you force the internal clutches to absorb the full momentum of the car. That creates a shock load that shears the friction material off the clutch packs and generates massive heat inside the transmission. Over time, this wears down the clutches and overheats the fluid. A documented case from a Pontiac G6 owner showed complete transmission failure at 149,000 miles, and the root cause was traced back to this exact habit. The owner had been shifting before stopping for years, and it literally destroyed the transmission from the inside out. The fix costs you nothing. Come to a complete stop before shifting between reverse, neutral, and drive. Avoid revving the throttle while on an incline. Use your parking brake instead. These habits can extend your transmission's lifespan by 50,000 to 100,000 miles. A free habit change beats a $3,200 rebuild. This mistake affects GM sedans like the Malibu and Impala, older Honda models, and mid-2000s Fords. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more money-saving automotive insights. But even if you drive perfectly, the wrong fluid level will destroy everything. Mistake number 6. Driving with low or overfilled transmission fluid. You check your engine oil religiously, but when was the last time you checked your transmission fluid? Most people assume it stays at the right level forever, or they think, it's only a little low, I'll top it up later. That mindset can destroy your transmission in weeks. Here's the reality. Low fluid means air gets sucked into the system, creating bubbles that cause slipping. Slipping generates heat, and heat causes catastrophic damage. Being just 1 quart low can raise your operating temperature by 20 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's enough to push you into the danger zone. Overfilling is equally dangerous. Too much fluid creates foam, which leads to erratic pressure and harsh shifting. Your transmission control module can't compensate for foaming fluid, and you'll start experiencing delayed engagement, slipping, and eventually internal damage. The solution: check your transmission fluid level monthly, especially on older vehicles. For newer cars with no dipstick, you'll need an OBD scanner to monitor the transmission temperature and ensure you're checking the level at the correct operating temp, usually around 180 to 200 degrees Celsius. This prevents early torque converter failure. Vehicles particularly affected include Chrysler vans like the Town & Country, Ford Explorer with the 6-speed automatic, and Nissan Pathfinder with the CVT. And if fluid level issues concern you, wait until you hear the myth that's ruining more high-mileage cars than anything else. Mistake number 7. Never change old fluid on high-mileage vehicles. You've probably heard someone say, "Never change transmission fluid on a high-mileage car. It'll kill the transmission." This myth has been circulating for decades, and it's caused more damage than almost any other piece of bad advice in the automotive world. But here's the dirty secret. It's not the fluid change that kills transmissions, it's incorrect flushing methods. When mechanics use high-pressure machines on neglected transmissions, they dislodge years of buildup and contaminate the valve body. That causes failure. Proper fluid replacement done correctly is always beneficial. Blackstone Labs routinely analyzes transmission fluid from vehicles with over 150,000 miles, and their reports consistently show high wear metals, oxidation, and contamination. Their recommendation? Service the transmission. Real-world case studies back this up. Toyota owners with 180,000 miles of original ATF often report smoother, quieter shifts after a proper drain and fill service. Your solution: drop the pan, replace the filter, and perform 2 to 3 staged drain and fills over a few thousand miles. This method gently replaces the old fluid without shocking the system. You'll reduce wear metals, restore hydraulic pressure, and extend transmission life. A $300 service now prevents a $4,500 failure later. But fluid isn't the only thing aging. Your cooler can kill even a brand new transmission if you ignore this next mistake. Mistake number 8. Not flushing or replacing the cooler. After a failure, so you just spent $3,800 on a remanufactured transmission. You install it, drive away from the shop, and everything feels great. But here's what they don't tell you. If you didn't flush or replace the transmission cooler and lines, you're on borrowed time. The truth is, old cooler lines hold metal debris, clutch material, and contaminated fluid from the previous failure. When you install a new transmission, all that debris gets circulated right back into the fresh unit. Some transmissions fail within hours because of contaminated coolers. That's why many professional rebuilders will deny your warranty unless you replace or thoroughly flush the cooler system. One subscriber learned this the hard way after replacing the transmission in his Silverado. Within 3,000 miles, the new unit started slipping. He pulled the pan and found metal shavings, contamination from the old cooler. He had to do the whole job over again, costing another $3,800. The solution is straightforward. After any major transmission failure, replace the cooler or have it professionally flushed. This applies especially to Silverado and Sierra trucks, F-150s, Tahoe and Suburban SUVs, and Ram 1500 pickups. Spending $200 on a new cooler beats redoing a $3,800 rebuild. And while we're talking about shortcuts that destroy transmissions, this next one is the wallet destroyer everyone falls for. Mistake number 9. Using stop leak and miracle additives. You're at the auto parts store and you see a bottle that promises to stop leaks, restore smooth shifting, and fix slipping for $12. Sounds like a miracle in a bottle, right? Most people think these additives are harmless at worst and helpful at best. But here's the reality. Transmission stop leak products work by swelling your seals. While that might temporarily reduce a leak, it also changes the friction characteristics of your fluid. That altered friction causes more slippage, which generates more heat, which accelerates wear. You're trading a small leak today for a major failure tomorrow. Oil analysis labs routinely detect non-OEM additives in failed transmissions, and the reports consistently show higher wear metals and oxidation. The chemistry of your transmission fluid is carefully engineered, adding random chemicals throws that balance off. Your proper solution: replace worn cooler lines, leaking axle seals, or a failing torque converter seal. Addressing the root cause protects your clutch packs and prevents overheating. The vehicles most affected include the Ford Edge, Jeep Cherokee, and GM trucks with the Ford L60E transmission. Spending $150 to fix a leak correctly beats spending $3,500 on a transmission replacement caused by a $12 bottle of snake oil. But the biggest mistake? Not catching problems early when they're still cheap to fix. Mistake number 10, not using cheap diagnostics, OBD readers and oil analysis. Most people think diagnostics are only for mechanics or professional shops. You assume that if there's no check engine light, everything is fine. But here's what you're missing. By the time your transmission triggers a warning light, the damage is already done. The truth is, a $30 OBD scanner can read transmission temperatures, detect clutch slip, and catch early P07XX fault codes before they turn into expensive failures. You can monitor your transmission's health in real time and catch problems when they're still fixable. And here's the kicker. Oil analysis from companies like Blackstone costs only $40 per sample. One Nissan owner sent in a fluid sample and discovered the dealer had filled the CVT with the wrong fluid during a service. The lab detected it immediately, and the owner had it corrected before the CVT failed. That $40 test saved a $4,700 replacement. Your solution: scan your transmission monthly using an OBD reader, check for fault codes, monitor temperatures, and look for abnormal patterns. Send an ATF sample to a lab every 50,000 miles to detect wrong fluid, wear metals, or heat damage. Spending $70 on diagnostics beats spending $4,700 on a new transmission. The vehicles that benefit most include F-150s, Silverado and Sierra trucks, Chrysler minivans, and Toyota Highlanders. And that's how these 10 mistakes silently destroy thousands of dollars without ever triggering a warning light. Let's be real. Avoiding these 10 mistakes can extend your transmission's life by 100,000 to 250,000 miles. Most transmission failures aren't mechanical fate. They're preventable disasters caused by bad habits, wrong fluids, excessive heat, and dealership myths designed to keep you coming back for expensive repairs. Now you know more than most service advisors will ever tell you. Hit like if you found this breakdown useful and subscribe to the channel now. I'll continue to guide you through the real facts of car maintenance, saving you thousands. Next week, we're breaking down 7 engine maintenance myths that destroy your car long before the transmission ever does. You don't want to miss this. Drive smart, stay safe, and keep your money in your pocket.